The reason why we procrastinate is because perfectionists need to have everything perfect before they execute or implement. So, for example, if there's a project that you're supposed to run, and you don't have enough data, then you have that feeling of that vulnerability, that insecurity,
It's
that
not
I'm
good
not
enough.
sure I'm going to implement this well if I don't have all the data at my fingertips. So.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Career Success with Adrian and Yen.
Hi everyone, good morning. It's a happy Friday.
Yes, and as you can notice a big difference. We are in a new studio, in a new setting. And why did we do the shift up?
We're trying new things, and I think it's important that we up our production quality so our listeners and our viewers have a better experience. I think that's important. So we're experimenting, and so far we're loving it.
It's nice. We have a few other studios we can experiment with. Maybe you can tell us which ones you like, and then we can select those as our permanent ones. But right now, Yen is correct. We're experimenting. And we want to thank all of you. For those of you who've just joined us, my name is Adrian, and I'm the CEO and founder of Career Agility International. And next to me is Yen.
Hi everyone, happy to be here.
She's our co-founder and executive director. And together as Career Agility International, we are a group of career experts who help you along your career journey to achieve career happiness via career agility.
Yeah. So for today, we want to talk about something that's been plaguing a lot of our clients. I think myself included.
All of us, guilty as charged.
It's the big P word. It's a big P word.
Yes, it is.
It's procrastination. And sometimes we don't want to do what we don't want to do, but we don't know why. And we've had a number of clients who have sort of dragged their feet a little bit. They know that there's something looming. They know they need to do it. Myself included. I procrastinate on the things I don't enjoy doing.
Me too. I've always procrastinated since I was a kid. So my mom tells me. And
That's not procrastination. Is it procrastination, or is it just because you're a last minute dude?
A bit of both. I'm a last minute dude because I procrastinate as a result of procrastination. But I've always wanted to figure out how to get over procrastination, but I just never got around to it.
There you go.
So I just had to slide that lame joke in. But
it's so lame.
yeah, I know.
It's so lame.
But one thing I like about it is that today is a good time.
You like procrastination.
I like procrastinating because for myself, as you already know, you've been working with me for the past 6 years, right?
Yes.
I get my best output.
Ideas. He gets his best ideas at the last minute.
Yeah.
He does his best work under time pressure. By the way, if you're listening, it's not necessarily the best way to execute your projects.
It's not.
And we're not giving you permission to delay the things that you need to do and wait for the last minute, because then you take a risk. You take a risk of missing those deadlines.
That's true. Yeah. And unless you're a skilled procrastinator like me, do not try it. I have been battle hardened and trained.
Okay.
So
are you suggesting it's a skill that we should, it's an exercise, a muscle that we should exercise?
For me, it's a coping mechanism because it is tough. And as we were doing research about this topic, we found many reasons why individuals procrastinate. And we wanted to just touch on the top 5 reasons why people procrastinate. And there's so many reasons,
Yeah, it's not just the reasons though. I mean, what we want to do is to help our listeners with some coping mechanisms or some ideas on how they can manage, the reasons behind or the excuses behind why you might.
I like the way you use excuses.
It's an excuse sometimes. Yes. I mean,
that's true. That's true.
I haven't done the homework because the teacher's instructions were not clear.
My pen ran out of ink.
The dog ate the paper.
My LCD monitor, my computer ran out of LCD. So
there you go. Anyway, so let's go start. Let's start with point number 1. Yeah.
So right now, for those of you who just joined us, we are talking about reasons why people procrastinate and
what
how
we can do about it.
You can handle it better. This one, the first reason why people procrastinate was something which you mooted at the very top of the list. What is it actually?
The reason most people procrastinate is because they're perfectionists.
And that's the second P, because you were talking about the first P.
The big, well, it's
a perfectionism. Are you a perfectionist? Yeah.
Perfectionism is a huge topic in itself.
Yeah. Are you a perfectionist?
To some extent, I'd expect certain things to be done a certain way in order that things are smoother. But there are many other things that I can sort of let go as well. So again, it's not binary. It's not your either one or the other. I think we have scales.
Okay, I have a question for you then.
There are spectrums.
I have a question for you. Do women fall victim to perfectionism more than men?
I can't answer that question because it's like a rabbit hole trap.
From your experience, what do you think?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's gender specific.
Okay.
I don't think so. But we all have our own OCD eccentricities, don't we? There are things that we care about and there are things that we don't. But back to the topic of perfectionism, the reason why we procrastinate is because perfectionists need to have everything perfect before they execute or implement. So for example, if there's a project that you're supposed to run and you don't have enough data, then you have that feeling of that vulnerability, that insecurity that I'm not sure I'm going to implement this well if I don't have all the data at my fingertips. So I need to study more, I need to research more, and then you end up taking a lot more time than necessary, and then you end up having to rush that last bit just to meet that deadline.
And because you're waiting for it to be perfect, the output to be perfect, relying on input that is perfect, timelines get delayed and therefore you procrastinate. That's what you're saying?
And the thing is this, we live in an imperfect world, don't we? We don't have perfect information.
Yeah.
So we have to be comfortable with ambiguity. And that is a muscle we need to exercise.
Yeah, and I also think that perfectionism is very subjective because what's perfect for you may be ultra perfect for me. Or what's... You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's good enough. Stop nagging.
Yeah, it's good enough, right? Sometimes it's good enough.
Yeah.
To everyone else, it's good enough, but to you, it's not good enough.
It's not good enough.
And then you're at a 75% mark, but you want to push it up to 95%, which is not necessary sometimes because it just could be a first draft.
And that's the thing about people who are in the job hunt mode, for example, and they're thinking, gosh, yes, I have to prepare to submit an application.
The perfect CV.
But my resume needs to be perfect and my LinkedIn needs to be ideal and I need to line up all of my mentors and my references and I need to make sure that this is the perfect job for me. But we'll never know. In a quick segue, the job that you eventually land is not necessarily the job you interview for. So you gotta be okay with the fact that maybe you need to just prepare enough.
And it's
and go
true.
for it.
Yeah, and that's why some people do procrastinate when they see a job application online and it says deadline in 14 days. They procrastinate to the 13th day to submit it, by which time they would already have interviewed the first 5 candidates already.
And your application's lost in the volume because by waiting until the 11th hour to submit your application is, I guess, telling the hiring manager that I'm not interested.
Yeah. So, and also if you're thinking that I'm not submitting now because I want to perfect my CV, I want to perfect my interview and everything, it's not a good idea, okay? Because Winston Churchill actually once said, perfectionism is the enemy of progress. And if you're trying to get all the information in and everything to be perfect, D-Day would not have happened.
I don't know. And if you're using the military example, what did you say? All the plans go out the moments the bullets start to fly.
Yes, something along those lines.
Something along those lines.
Yeah,
so what we're trying to say is that perfectionism is subjective. If you are aware that it is holding you back, then do enough research and then take calculated risks. And I think that's good enough.
I think so too.
I think it's better to do something than nothing at all.
Yeah, I agree. And, which is... So that's why I think we have to first recognize if our procrastination is due to our perfectionist streak and take action about it.
Yep. Let's go on to point number 2.
Some people procrastinate because they have phobias, whether it's rational or not. They have a fear of the unknown.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I even apply, I worry that maybe I have some frenemies in the company. Maybe the HR person had a previous interaction that was not very good. What if somebody gets a hold of my resume and use it against me? There are so many what ifs. In fact, one of the most frequently asked questions I get in any coaching session is what if?
Yeah.
What if my boss doesn't like me? What if the job is too much for me to
Yeah.
handle? What if they don't pay me enough?
Yeah, correct. And one thing that's very funny is I once had this client and she got into a huge spiral of doom because she was saying, there's a promotion coming up. Should I apply for this promotion? Should I put my hand up? What if I don't get it? What if I get it and then I can't fulfill it? What if I get it and then another company comes along and hires me? Then I can't leave it because I just took up this job. What if? And our
Well,
solution
what's your
is
response?
don't overburden yourself with hypotheticals. Okay,
We'll
because
cross the bridge when we get to it.
we'll cross the bridge when we get to it.
You're already stressed enough. Don't add more
Hypothetical situations,
fictional
and a lot of
stress.
times it's irrational fears, which
Yes.
you're letting your mind go run all over the place. So sometimes people do procrastinate because of the fear of the unknown, which paralyzes them, and they just seize up and
Paralyzed by fear.
Yeah,
like a deer caught in the headlights. That's why people talk to us, because you have to have a soundboard. You want to have someone objective to sort of check against your ideas and whether or not you're rational, whether it makes sense. Someone who's objective, someone who knows what they're talking about. So yes, you can definitely check in with your mentors, check in with your career coaches. And have conversations with people you trust, someone senior to you, to sort of figure out whether or not your fear is rational.
founded, unfounded, rational, irrational.
Yeah.
And but sometimes you need to identify the fears in order to squish it like a bug.
Yes, and people who are delusional, they're not delusional. People who like to avoid the people who kind of like they just kind of deny it's they're all.
And I have to be quite politically incorrect at this point in time, as always, because this show is politically incorrect. Sometimes your irrational fears are just excuses for not doing it. Okay, so for example, I know this individual, he didn't want to apply for this job at a bank, a global bank, because he said, they bank a lot of foreigners. So therefore, I'm a local, it's not
That's
going to
an
get.
excuse.
And a lot of excuses, this, and then he goes on a diatribe about foreigners in Singapore. Oh, this is absolute unnecessary negative energy coming out. But ultimately, that wasn't the reason. The reason was something else. So sometimes your irrational fear is an excuse.
Yes,
unfortunately.
it's an excuse. Yeah. And so you want to identify the causes of whether or not the fear is valid, right? Figure out whether or not, like in the case of that story that you were just telling, what is the ratio? Get the data, get the facts. Don't just consume things that you find on Glassdoor.
Or the
Because
internet, or on socials.
the people online are unhappy, and we know that unhappy people will
Go
have
online. No,
will
exactly
go
your
online,
point, right?
will
Unhappy
go
people
online
are
and write diatribes.
Yeah.
But happy people
just
don't
like
go
that,
online to write good things. So it's really hard to get praise, but it's very easy to get complaints.
Yeah.
So don't just consume one source of information. Go talk to your network and check and see whether or not they're real.
I like what you just said. People online are unhappy, and unhappy people go online. So
It's true
that's,
to a large extent. Again, that's anecdotal.
It's
based
a big
on my
circle.
experience.
I know. Looking at the comments, it's if you just look at any social,
Yes.
you see the ratio of negative to positive comments.
And that's why we have sensational news.
Yes,
And
negative
only
news.
bad
So
news
don't,
make it to the world.
Yeah. So don't. So if you are procrastinating because of fears, irrational or rational, and if you find that your fears are rational and founded, like for instance, I really do not know anything about this 5G job that I'm going to interview for, then you go out and you get
Yeah.
information and details, or you can reach out to a colleague or some expert in that space and get advice from them rather than
Yeah.
just be paralyzed and say, oh, I'm not going to do it.
I've run workshops for individuals who like to tell me that they've had they're very worried about technical interviews. What if they ask me a question I can't answer? It's too technical.
How do you
and my
respond to
response
that?
is, well, go learn, because technical it's either right or wrong.
You know or you don't know.
You can't fudge it. So you have to go study some more, or get more practice. And like Adrian says, go learn, figure it out, and get the skills.
And I'm very circumspect about it, because if they're asking you questions that are technical and you can't answer, I think you better not take that job
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
that
going
is
to
unsuitable.
you're showing yourself up as it's the job may be too technical for you. It's like, how do you land this
Yeah,
plane?
yeah.
Press button A and then scroll down to help
But
F1.
by
You can't do that, right? So you better not be a pilot. Don't interview for that job because you're obviously not qualified for it.
That's true. So get help, get skilled up, get practice. But for everything else, there are transferable skills.
True.
And so, communication skills and managing stakeholders, writing reports and finishing the projects on time. Those don't need too much. I wouldn't worry too much. So
And focus on what you have rather than what you don't have.
and don't be in denial. Just
That's very true. That's a nice one. Okay, and of course, if you have any questions about all these, just drop us an email, info@careeragility.org. We're always happy to help you out with any of your questions you might have.
Yeah, and you can also like and subscribe and put comments in this video, and we'll be happy to respond as well.
True. So the third reason why people procrastinate would be
Too much data. Sometimes they're inundated with so much information, they don't know where to begin. It's like a deluge, a tsunami, and they're trying to stay ahead and breathe. And so they feel very overwhelmed. And so, better not do anything. I'll just go into bed and just
And
pretend the world does not exist.
curl up into a ball. And that's interesting because this is the flip side to the first problem we were talking about, not enough information. Sometimes
Yep.
you have too much. And when I was in Shell, we used to call this analysis paralysis, where you
Yeah.
just sit down and you overanalyze and then you don't know where to begin. It's like the old story I always tell about the ant wanting to play a trick on the millipede. And he told the millipede, hey, how do you walk? You got so many legs. Do your even-numbered legs move fast, one step ahead of the odd-numbered legs? And what does leg number 35 do? And the poor millipede stands there and he can't move because he's just overanalyzing. So sometimes you got to go with the flow and make a decision. Sometimes in certain areas, it is true. You may not have enough data to make a decision. But sometimes, or very often, what you need to do is to take a bold step, filter out the information that you want, and go with it. Because leadership, especially, is about making decisions in tough situations.
And I also think it's okay to get help. You can get help to go through and filter out all the noise. Go to the experts so that you can get some insights. Don't go it alone because making a decision with too much information is just as bad as not enough information. And if you know of people who are subject matter experts, go seek their advice.
I actually have more information than less.
I'd rather do that as well. I'd rather have more.
But in a situation where you don't have enough data, for instance, if you're launching a new product or doing a new project, and if you sit around waiting for the data to come in, or you're on the internet trying to research more data, then it will push your deadlines back, and then you end up maybe not even deliberately procrastinating, but end up having the deadlines pushed.
Yeah.
So one of the famous words, today we are very militaristic.
No, that's all on you, man.
Yeah, I know, me. During the Gulf War, Donald Rumsfeld was the Secretary of Defense at the time, and the soldiers were complaining they did not have enough armor or tanks, whatever it was, and he said something really interesting, which was quite mean and heartless at the time, but it was true. He said, guys, we go to war with the equipment that we have, not the equipment that we want. Because by the time we wait for all the equipment to come in, the war's over, we will have lost. So sometimes when you're doing a project, if you don't have enough information, you just go to market with what you have. In GE, when I was there, we used to have this rule, 80% go, which means that if you have enough information giving you 80% confidence, you just go ahead and do it. And if you wait around, but if there's important information that you need to process you need to make a decision, set a deadline. For instance, by Wednesday this week, if the info is not in, we're just going to go ahead. Okay, guys? Yeah, let's do it.
And I think that's why we also need advisors. We need a board of advisors. You need to have people around you whom you can trust. Because when you make this sort of decisions, it's not, again, on your own. It's not unilateral. And that's why you want to have domain experts, technical experts, subject matter experts, the governance guy, people who can represent different aspects of that project, so that you can have a decent committee.
Yeah,
and then the decisions will be pretty okay, I think.
And one of the best things about having a big team as well, is that you got more people to blame when it goes wrong. But he gave me the information. She was okay. Let's. Pro tip for the day.
No. I mean, the buck stops with someone, and that's you. But having a committee sort of diffuses it a little bit and gives you a lot more courage. So I think that's important.
It's true.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with good people.
Yeah,
Okay?
absolutely.
And one of the other reasons we noticed especially for myself sometimes, procrastination is avoidance. Sometimes I just avoid deadlines. I avoid doing the things that I don't like to do. And one of the things I hate doing
It's
is
administration.
and my expenses.
Do you know what we end up doing? Just a quick insight as to the workings of career agility is that regularly on our Zoom calls, I watch Adrian do the admin on a Zoom. He has to share the screen and to make sure that he doesn't make any mistakes, and then we get
It never gets done.
We get the
It never
paperwork
gets
done quite quickly.
Yeah, it never gets done.
So
highly unproductive, but it works.
actually, it's very productive. It's very productive because we get it done in half an hour.
Okay, rather than
As
me
opposed
sitting
to
around
4 or
staring
5
at the screen,
hours, right?
okay,
Yeah.
for 5 days of me not doing it, right? So, so I think that's useful. You have to understand why also you're avoiding it. Sometimes the task is unpleasant.
Yeah, and I'd
Unpleasant
rather
to
be
you.
on my Insta, and I'd rather not be on, if I'm on my laptop, gosh, the distractions, right? I'd be on social media.
Yeah, you and your what game are you on now?
My binge watching. And I do enjoy a good MasterChef videos.
And by the way, your MasterChef videos are not videos; they are series. You watch 16 episodes at a go. It's like
they're cool. They're cool.
Yeah, I know, and
But again,
those are time stealers,
big
yeah.
distractions there preventing us from getting
you know,
down to
one
the
of
work.
the biggest distractions I find is
For you?
for myself, is being on Facebook, reading stupid stuff. I once loaded TikTok, and
you had to quickly delete it.
yeah, because it was just too addictive.
Yeah,
so
because
it's
you go
crazy.
down this rabbit hole, and then before you know it,
Yeah,
it's 2 hours.
just time eaters. It's just gone.
Yeah.
These are non-productive users of
Yeah.
time. What I've done now is I've gone on YouTube to watch a lot of other educational videos, current affairs, and historical videos. I'm
And
into
that puts you
historical
to
videos
sleep.
now. No, I love
I like the
historical
voice
stuff.
when I do want to take a nap and I need to sleep. I just turn on the boring voice.
And then you can turn on the,
It's very similar to a golf game or a documentary on some.
our CDO, our chief digital officer was saying that, I know Ram was saying that when he wants to fall asleep,
he watches
a Japanese
a foreign
documentary.
A foreign film,
Yeah.
even drama serials in some unknown language.
And you just
Because-
watch, then you just slowly go knock
That
out.
was a very good tip because now
Yeah.
if I want a nap, I turn on a Japanese food video, and there are quite a lot of those as well.
God, it makes me
But
hungry.
anyway,
Then I'll
question:
Yes.
Do you procrastinate because the task is something unpleasant, or is it because the attraction is something that is pulling you in and gravitating? The gravity of the
it's-
distraction is stronger.
It's both. This is a two-body problem. So the gravity is pulling you in both
Because
ways.
sometimes, even if you've removed all the distractions, you rearranged your desk, you're getting down to the work you need to do, and then nothing.
Yeah.
But that's real avoidance.
Yeah.
Yeah, not just because the distractions are an excuse.
Which is me. So what I remember, my first boss I ever had, he gave me a very good piece of advice. He said, "Eat the frog in the morning." What does that mean?
Do the unpleasant things first.
Yeah.
Get it out of the way, and then the rest of the day will be much better.
Once you've eaten the frog, and nothing else matters anymore. You've done with it, okay? And no, it's the toughest thing you've done. You've closed off, and you can, even if you wanted to chill out the rest of the afternoon.
You probably won't because the momentum will carry you forward.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And I like what you said about momentum, because sometimes procrastination is just a matter of momentum. Once you get into the groove, my biggest procrastination is exercise and going to the gym.
Yeah.
So when I don't feel like going to the gym, what I do is I just put on my socks and my gym shoes,
And you got no choice.
Yeah, and I just no choice. I got to go out, and I realized that once you're in it, you get the feel of it. You start moving around.
So
and
from
it's like,
from home to gym,
they're just downstairs. I'm so lazy.
What
It's okay, I don't do it.
happens?
It's
What
terrible.
happens between home and gym?
I stop by
sometimes
the
there might
snack
be-
bar and have Snickers to charge up carbo loading. Yeah, right.
For
that's how
me,
we
for
do
me
it.
personally, I try to get my yoga done in the mornings before the day starts, and I don't enjoy it, but I get it done, and then I feel better.
It gets you going, right?
I feel a little bit better.
And
So it easier said than done.
It's
my
easier said than
friends.
done. I
Easier
agree.
said than
I
done.
agree. It's not easy, but once again, if you make it into a habit, and like what the book wrote, I can't remember the guy's name. He wrote Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
Basically, it's about small habits that make a big difference over time. So
Get over the inertia.
Yeah, just get the inertia is the one that either holds you back or keeps you going.
Yeah.
Physics.
Sometimes we need little rewards along the way as well, so that the unpleasant task is not as hard to swallow. So what was it, Mary Poppins? I think it was a spoonful of sugar. So if again go for your favorite coffee, if you have to drink your coffee black, but then on the day that you're gonna do the task, make it sweet. It's okay, you know. Give yourself the little perks so that it's not as unpleasant.
So after gym,
That's
banana
why,
split.
And that's why I have my Dalgona to get me going in the morning. Because I know that at the end of yoga, I have a nice cold coffee that's sweet.
Nice.
And it's less pleasant. Less unpleasant.
Yeah, it makes life less unpleasant. So give yourself little rewards to get over the frog that you have to eat. Okay?
Yeah. Why does it have to be a frog though?
I don't know, must be a French guy who called that. But then again,
if
a
they
French guy will
prepare it
actually
well,
enjoy
it's
it. Don't ask me.
So gosh, I don't know where that saying came
Le
from.
frog.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Okay,
Let's
anyway.
go.
Very often, the reason why people procrastinate is because sometimes just lack the motivation, just in the mood.
Yeah.
No? I don't know.
Yeah,
I get
no
that
mood.
a lot.
It must be your hormonal imbalance.
Probably true. Probably true. I need
You know,
to.
the weather is so hot. I don't want to do anything. What else? We like to blame the weather for everything that goes wrong, don't we?
Especially in Singapore,
It's so rainy. We're not going to do anything today.
It's so hot. I'm not going to do anything today.
So sometimes we need someone to become again with the military examples. We need like a sergeant major who's going to yell at us and go like, get up, do it.
Yeah.
And so if somebody is going to light a fire, we'll have to get up. Yeah.
And I think it's not just someone who can yell at you. Okay,
Not just anyone.
No, it's not just someone to yell at you, but someone whom you can work with. You know, have an accountability buddy that helps as well.
Yeah.
Having colleagues. When I'm working from home, I rarely work from home. Sorry, it's true. When I'm working from home, I rarely work because I'm getting stuff done and I say, oh man, my back's tired. Oh, the bed looks really inviting. Okay, 5 minute nap. Because like, oh shucks, it's lunchtime already. Okay, lunch, guys.
Funny enough, I'm quite productive at home. I think it's because I have my setup and I know that, and it's become a habit, like you said
I
in
think
our
you're more
previous
disciplined
point.
than me, that's why.
In a previous point, because if you create an environment that's inviting, and remember we went through COVID when work from home was necessary. You had to create little corners. So yes, I invested in a huge monitor. I've got all my cables set up. The table that I bought has one of those fancy things that can go up and down.
Okay,
So
let me ask you, how often have
yeah.
you used that up and down function?
very often.
Really?
Very often.
Okay, now I have to get one myself. I always figured if I bought one, I would
the
never.
thing is if you're writing a long article, sometimes it's easy to just get bored. So you stand up. And it's better for the ergonomics as well because the angle is better.
Okay.
I think it's worth an investment.
I don't know
You
because
should
I always
look
thought
into
that
it.
the desk that goes up and down is about as useful as my fruit juicer in the kitchen.
Well, that's on you then. And you don't need a huge one. You just need a tiny one. So my table is about 1 meter in length only. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's all because I share it with my gamer son and occasionally my studying daughter and my other half.
One
so
thing-
we all use that table.
One thing I find personally effective to stop procrastinating in general is that I make announcements and commitments to stakeholders.
Yes.
Which means that I tell
I need to get this done by Wednesday.
I will get this done by Wednesday. You know, I'll have the report to you on Friday morning. And because I've made my point clear and I committed, I will deliver it. So
because your reputation is at
yeah,
stake.
you're pleased on it.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. That's why
That's what a
besides
lot of
having
people do. That's what a lot of people do when they want to go through a weight loss journey. They go online and they announce it, and then the rest of the internet will hold them accountable. Go like, hey, you said this 3 months ago. What's happened? Where's the update? That could work.
Are you hinting something about me? Okay,
No,
just kidding.
not at all.
Anyway, we digress. But yes, my New Year resolutions haven't resolved. So, and I'm talking about 2022.
It's only just started. Wait, hang on. We're in Q2 now.
No, but I'm talking about my 2022 New Year resolutions are they're still unresolved. So,
in progress.
in progress.
I'm a work in progress.
So that's why procrastination is I put the pro in procrastination. Let's put it this way.
Yeah. So when it comes to your career, in your job hunt, one of the things that I get, we hear this a lot. I wish we'd come to you sooner. because we give you scaffolding, we give you strategies, we give you workable ideas and tasks that help you to progress and make sure your career is back on track. So reach out to us. We'll be your accountability buddies. We'll set targets for you. They're not going to be overly dangerous or difficult
or daunting.
Although I do receive feedback that you can increase the intensity as much as you want. So people have told me, gosh, Yen, you set such high targets. I'm like, no, not at all. Just get started. And so yeah, come talk to us if you want to get your career back on track. So if you are looking to accelerate, or you're looking for a better role, you are looking for I guess some ideas on how you can scale your career, just come talk to us. info@careeragility.org.
Yes. And if I were to ask you, what's the biggest thing you do procrastinate about, and what would it be?
I'm not a major procrastinator. I know that something needs to be done. I make plans for it because that's my personality. I plan for it. And so as long as it's not last minute or unexpected, because the worst thing for me are people who tell me something last minute.
Are you
change
hinting
of
again?
Plans. I don't.
Yes,
I
she's
don't
hinting
like
again. Yes.
last minute. Does not go well. But so for example, I'm gonna share. Right. I think you all know this. I'm not a great. I'm not a happy person doing networking. Networking just goes, But if you tell me, say 2 weeks in advance, there's going to be a major networking event, I can set up my mindset. I can mentally prepare for it. It takes me the 2 weeks. And then at the last minute, don't give me more things to do for the networking event. And so then I make plans around that networking event. I'll tell myself I'll have 10 conversations, after which I have permission to leave if I'm not feeling it. And then I get past that unpleasant event very well. So no, I've not really had major procrastination issues. So for example, I set my mind to it. I say, okay, I'll do yoga every weekday morning. And then on a Sunday, I can rest.
You
On
are so
Saturday, I'll go for a
disciplined.
walk. Yeah, I make it a non-negotiable.
Yeah, I like
And
that.
I make it a non-negotiable. But what I do tend to give myself a bit of a corner. I cut a corner a little bit. Is sometimes I do I know I need to do 15 minutes, but I do 10. And that's okay.
It's okay because you've done
That's
10.
okay, exactly.
10 more than 0, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to sound overly sanctimonious, but no, procrastination is not a problem if you give
That's
me the
good.
heads up.
Okay, that's good.
I need the heads up.
I'll have to learn that from you. So if you have a procrastination issue and you
Wait.
just never got around to it,
I'm going to interject here. You asked me that question. I
I
need
was
to
hoping
ask.
she wouldn't ask that
I
question.
need to ask you back. What is your biggest procrastination?
For me, it's actually exercise on because I've always wanted to do a round the island bike ride. And I've been procrastinating it. I mean, I do my 40, 50 click rides, but the round the island bike ride is at least 130, 140 kilometers.
Are there groups
It's an 8.
that you can go?
Yeah, but I don't like cycling in groups because I always
an
slow them down.
excuse.
I slow them down. That's an excuse. But no, that's the truth. I slow them down. And the last time I tried, I dropped off halfway because they were saying that,
When
hey,
this episode airs, there'll be people who are going to reach out to you and go like, hey,
if
Adrian,
anyone wants to
join
do a
us.
round the island bike ride with me,
you
and you
go.
don't mind laggards like me straggling behind, drop me a note. Okay,
We'll
I'll
find
be
someone your pace. There's,
Yeah,
there's someone for everyone.
Some geriatric
There's
guy
someone
in
for everyone,
with a walking stick. So
But hang on, that's
that's
just
my pace.
one thing though.
Like a long list of things I procrastinate about. My storeroom needs to be clean. My garden needs to be more.
Yeah.
I've been needing to reorganize my kitchen cabinet. So yeah, lots of stuff. But you know what? Because I'm just too busy. I'm too busy helping clients like
It
yourself
sounds like an excuse.
to enjoy your career. So anyway, have a great one ahead. Okay, take care of yourself, and thanks for joining in. Once again, like this video, and if you find any of the information useful, just share it with your friends. And of course, we're always here for you. Drop us an email, info@careeragility.org. Have a nice one. Bye.
Bye.